Hey, hello again. Here's Joe. I'm bag jewelry and watch collector. Also authenticate bags for Hermes bags for bag investors, auction houses, and bag resellers. So today I will be reviewing this bag. It's not an Hermes bag, obviously. It's a Louis Vuitton bag. It's because last time I reviewed this one, my new purchase. Evelyn Très Petit Modèle, or you may call it Evelyn Mini. Some people call it that. I did mention that I feel that the making was better in certain details. Maybe I should just say they're different because Hermes and Louis Vuitton are both very, very respectable maison, and they have their own fans of each. I think they are well, but they do have different makings of the bag, and they also have different philosophies behind it. So again, as I mentioned, I do not want to appear to be another person just unboxing the bags and telling you how much I like it. I try to share some of the knowledge that I gathered all along the years on leather goods, especially in terms of authentication. So I hope this could help people who want to start a collection of bags or want to invest on the secondary market to avoid certain mistakes. Again, this is actually the third video I'm making today. It's because I will be traveling. I'm currently on vacation in south of France with my family. So today is Sunday. I have nothing to do, so I have time for this. And next week I'll be traveling to Brazil for a month, so I won't have any time doing this. I will have to make some videos ahead and post them once every week because I want to maintain that speed. Well, okay, so coming back to this bag, this is a comparable bag actually in terms of size, in terms of price point to this one. The Evelyn Très Petit Modèle now in Europe, it costs about 1,700 for the normal stripe, and the one that I had, I showed you last time, it has a special stripe, so it's 1,800 something. You can see, so it's about 100 more than the normal one. The this bag, the model is called well, actually it's a funny name. It's in French it's called portefeuille wearable. It's a hybrid between French and English. Purely in French it should be portefeuille, portable, but I feel it's not very beautiful, so maybe that's why they use the half English word in it. And which portefeuille is a wallet, so it's a wearable wallet with a detachable card holder, small pouch. The price point of this now, it depends on which material, right? So this one would be, I would say 1,700, 1,600 in this type of leather, but not the special edition, the common ones. And the canvas one would be cheaper. I think it's 1,400 something. Talking about Louis Vuitton leathers or canvases, it's definitely much simpler than Hermes one. They have canvas, as we all know. They let me show you this. So they have the classic canvas, the monogram canvas. Then the monogram canvas comes with different editions, right? The brownish one is a classic one. This is a collaboration that Marc Jacobs did. So this two, they're called monogramme couleur, the colorful monogram. And then they have the damier check. This is the damier. They have the brownish one, the classic one, and then they have the azure, which is like the whitish. A lot of girls like it. And then they have another one. It's called the graphite, the graphite one, which is like a grayish one. And then they have this carbon version. I think their suitcase are made with this carbon version. It's actually coated with carbon fibers or whatever. And then in terms of real leather, the most recognizable one with monogram on it, it's called Les Empreintes. So Louis Vuitton Empreinte. It was also from Marc Jacobs, actually. Marc Jacobs did a lot of contribution in Louis Vuitton's bag making. And then you have the Vernis. Vernis, well, it has a quote of plastic on it. So it's also monogram. Then the non-monogram one, you have actually, this is, I'm sure I'm having a hard time to decide if this is Torillon or this is Cashmere. So the Torillon and Cashmere, they are very similar to me. I would say this is Cashmere. They are both granny leathers. The Cashmere is maybe more textured. Then they have the classic one, which is called AP, which is this one. So everyone knows about this. And then they have the Taiga. I don't find it here. Anyway, so of course they have the lambskin, and then they have the crocodile and the exotic skins like ostrich and lizard, and then they have a unified one like a cuirasse, that we call it cuirasse, which is the calf skin. Wow. So basically that's it. So it's much simpler than Hermes one. Again, personally, well, there are a lot of tutorials online talking about the different leather types of Hermes and Louis Vuitton. So if you are really interested, you can go have a look. But for me, if you do not have the bags in front of you, touching them, comparing them, and analyzing them really in depth, it's not very useful. Especially per se, it's important to know which leather is the natural looking one, like this one, the grains, which is embossed one with surface treating, and because they or which is like the unified one, the lease, because they take colors differently, and then they react to dirt and I don't know, the coloration, the scarfing, they react differently. So it is important to notice, okay, this is a leather bag, this is a leather bag with grains, so I should pay attention to certain things. I shouldn't like maybe get it in touch with oily or colorful or decolorational things. Or if it's unified leather, like in Hermes, but these ones with grains, they are actually scratch resistant because of the texture, or like this one, the Clémence. You won't be able to scratch it very easily. But do not do this. I don't have nails, but girls, be careful. Do not do this with a leather like Box or Tadlact or Swift or Evercutter. You would actually leave marks. They can be buffed sometimes. They will blend into the patina. No, patina in English. Patina over time, but well, immediately you will have a scratch. So, and then the exotic skins, the crocodiles, well, Hermes or Louis Vuitton use majorly like three, the alligator, the Niloticus, and the Borosius, Porus and Niloticus. So they all have different characters. If you are interested, in the future I can make a special video about the crocodiles. Of course, there are also other types of crocodiles like Cayman, Siamese. So that's just a lot of, well, again, unless you are really into this, you do not need to know this. but you do not need to know this in when you buy them because they come with different price. So typically in Louis Vuitton, the cheapest one would be the canvas one. As I mentioned, this model in canvas now is going to be 1,400 or 300, I don't remember. And with the Daiga, it doesn't come with AP, but with the Daiga, the surface embossed one, it's going to be 100 euros more, 1,400. And this one would be 1,600 to 1,700, even it's not a limited edition. The limited edition aren't necessarily more expensive. It really depends on the leather, I think. Yeah, so in Hermes, the same. The Clémence would be, I think, the same as Swift, but the other one that I talked about on the first and second video, so this leather, the Epson, would be definitely cheaper because it's surface treated. I mentioned in the first video, when you treat the surface, then you do not need to be that picky over the original leather, so which brings the price slightly lower. Oh yeah, right. The other leather, which is very similar to Hermes Epson, is Courchevel. So that's the leather that this Epson replaced in 2004, I think. Yeah, they discontinued that leather. I actually like that leather a lot. I have bags in that leather. I will show you when I go back home. So this bag, this is actually based on a model. First, this bag is called, actually, as I said, portefeuille wearable Gaston. So Gaston is the grandson of Louis Vuitton. So Gaston Vuitton is the grandson of Louis Vuitton. They are doing a whole series of homage to him, this bag. And now they have a whole male jewelry line in homage of Gaston. He's a very important person in the Louis Vuitton history. He actually did a lot of things. He pushed Louis Vuitton to the international stage. He cherished a lot the luggage making. Yeah, he's an important member of the family. So I think now that's why we, nowadays we always pay homage to someone. So the making of the bag. This Louis Vuitton bag has something I don't like a lot, the fabric lining. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just personally prefer leather lining, especially the lambskin leather lining. The stitching of Louis Vuitton, oh my god, I should find you a bag with contrast color stitching for you to see. I think you can see now. So the stitching, as you can see, is they are all machine stitched. I mean, machine stitched, guided by a human hand, of course, but still, they are not hand stitched. I don't even know if Louis Vuitton still hand stitch anything, like with needles and everything. No, of course they do. I'm sorry. I mean, on this bag, every stitch I see, they are machine stitched. But there's nothing wrong with it. But here you can see the stitching is different, slightly different. First, they do the double stitching where you have tension. Where's my little stick? Hold on. This is better. So you can see here they do have the double stitching, which is important because that's where it takes a lot of tension. With double stitching, it's just much more resistant. But when you run your hands, your fingers on it, it does feel much more superficial than the hand stitch. So here it has the double stitching too. Here I think it's for aesthetic reasons. Let me see if these are hand stitch. No, they're not. You see the stitch is slanted. It's like right slant. This is more aesthetic. It's considered more aesthetic in bag making when it's like that. But here, as you see, it's just a line. That's because it's they actually stitched from here. There you still have the slants. So, but on the back of when you're running the machine, it's just a line. So the Louis Vuitton machine, stitching machine, is definitely different from the Hermes one. The Hermes one would do the same type of stitch on the front side. Let me show you. Again, here they would do the same slant stitching as here, slant stitching. But on the back, the Hermes one, at least the one used for full leather bags, I'm not talking about the luggage line, the full leather bags, the back would look like this. It's slanted. It's slanted. But the Louis Vuitton one would be like a line. This is actually very similar to the machine that Hermes used for the luggage line, the fabric lining bags. Typically, like I can actually review you. I have Victoria traveling with me, so I can show you that. So personally, I really don't like this stitching. You can see it's not elegant. It's just maybe they're resistant. I don't even know. They're just not beautiful to my taste. So, and also the Louis Vuitton scissor doesn't have any details, not like the Hermes one. It has a small H here, but actually that also came in quite late. Not all Hermes bags have that. Actually, talking about zippers, I decided to remake a small part of it with the demonstration of an Hermes bag to show you the difference. I mentioned that the Hermes zippers, they have their specific traits. So here is my the Victoria that I talked about. So like Louis Vuitton, you can definitely see that the zippers carries their logo on it. So that's pretty standard nowadays for any good brands. But they actually, Hermes zippers, first Hermes and zippers, sorry, I have closing it, and zippers, they have a story. Hermes was actually the first maison in France which had the right to use, actually signed exclusivity, right to use the big invention of zippers in France. So the first time it was used was on a golf jacket for actually the Prince of Wales, because Hermes was like fascinated by this invention. To in France we call it fermeture éclair. Éclair means flash, like flash. So because you can open and close so fast, like a flash, right? So fermeture éclair. Hermes use different zippers. Nowadays, we all know that the Hermes zippers, like we can see here. I will show you. Does it show? Yes, it's a Riri. I think this brand from Switzerland, but Hermes had used different zippers before. You can see them in any vintage Hermes bags. And also, as we all know, the Hermes zipper stop has a H. Yeah, it has a H. Actually, this is one of the authenticating element of Hermes bags. These zippers, actually, as simple as it is, it's actually very hard to make a high quality one for the counterfeits. So the Riri for Hermes is definitely a special order from Hermes. They control it very strictly. So yeah, it's one of the things that we can check when you authenticate. Again, authenticating a bag is not about one thing. You see one thing, oh, it conforms, then it's a real one. Or you see one thing which doesn't conform, then you damn it as a knockoff. No, it's sometimes there's a lot of historical reasons and how the bag has been modified or lived or whatever. So someone might have changed the zipper of a bag, then we have only to say it's authentic bag with small modification, right? After all, it's just a zipper. So yeah, that's the zipper. I will go back to the Louis Vuitton bag. So the reason why the other day I mentioned that the Hermes one, the evening, you see here it's all glued very well, and even inside here it's glued. It doesn't come. Oh, did I show that? I said that this part they are glued, and even inside here they are glued. They don't come off. But the Louis Vuitton one here it's glued, but here you see it's actually, maybe it's because fabric, it's just you can't just glue this to the fabric, right? But they got to find a solution for this. I feel this is not very elegant. Again, I like Louis Vuitton. I think it's they have a lot of nice models, but in terms of making, I won't give them 5/5. So another thing that I wanted to show you on this bag is this. Actually, this is what we call actually a glissage. Glissage means coming from the word glisser, like slide, like a sliding log. This is actually quite convenient. I actually like the log of Louis Vuitton more than the Hermes one. I'll show you. The Hermes one, it's also like it turns and everything. It's also like a glissage, but it's not smooth as a Louis Vuitton one. It doesn't. I got stuck very often here, and also it doesn't turn very easily. Not like the Louis Vuitton one. And I do appreciate this small detail of having a Louis Vuitton logo here. So I think that's nice. This model, as I mentioned, maybe it's based on the pochette, the Louis Vuitton pochette. It has been around forever. You see, it's actually based on this model, but this is much bigger. It's like 27 centimeters. This is 22 centimeters. Basically, actually, I've seen a lot of people adding a strap to this, just to make it like a small bag. So this one, it on one side it comes like this, on the other side it's like this. I do not know why. I think it's just because they want to stick to the original model. The original model would have a hole here with a small metallic ring to reinforce the edge. Another thing that we can compare between the Louis Vuitton and the Hermes is actually the edge paint. So the edge paint of a bag is this. It's this material. The world leader of this is Stahl, and it's actually the brand that Hermes uses. I think Louis Vuitton uses the same brand. They I won't say Louis Vuitton, well, Hermes does better than Louis Vuitton, but as you can see, actually the edge paint of Hermes is actually very, very, very thin, but it's very delicately done. It never goes to here. Well, never. the Hermes standard is it never goes to the leather here, but I've seen it nowadays. Not in the old days, not the bags that I have like produced before the year 2000, but nowadays you do have the edge paint. Sometimes the edge paint even goes into the bag's body, but they are removable, so don't be too alarmed if you get into one with edge paint. The edge paint is actually different types of coatings to protect the edge of the leather, because you can imagine without this, the humidity would go in and the edge will be scuffed and damaged. So it actually prolongs the leather goods longevity and integrity. The Hermes one, as I mentioned, it's very delicately done. It's a very thin leather, thin layer, so it's actually need to be repaired quite often. When you bring your bag to the Hermes spa, they would do that. They would check all the edges and repair it if it's needed. Again, it costs about for normal Birkins, 200 something euros. I haven't done it after the pandemic. Before pandemic, 2015 something euros. And for this small reparation, in certain places you have an artisan. I do know that in New York they have an artisan doing this. In the flagship store of Hermes on Faubourg Saint-Honoré, they have actually an in-house artisan doing it. But in the other places, you have to give them their bag. They will send it back to their workshop, and then you will get it back in a couple of months. So yeah, this bag is actually pretty. Oh, it's again 24 minutes. I was thinking about making my videos down to 15 minutes because I find them too long. But anyway, we have to finish talking about what we need to talk about, right? So this bag is actually a very ideal traveling bag. That's why I traveled it all the time with. First, the size. You will see something quite unbelievable. This is an iPad mini. It goes in like a glove. This is actually the main reason why I travel with it. Another incredible thing is my umbrella. It goes in just like a glove, and I can still put my iPad in it, but then I will struggle a little bit to close this, but it closes. Yeah, so you can fit most of your necessities inside, and this is a very thoughtful design, so it hangs in front of you, right? So you can put certain cards in it, like transport card, all this countless cards in it, so you do not need to open your main bag for this. You can just get this off, and it actually reminds me of the model Duo and Trio of Louis Vuitton, which is quite popular nowadays. They have something like this, but not like if we say this, it's the sellier making, if we use the Hermes terminology. So when the stitches are from outside, we call them sellier. When it's inside, we call them retourné, returned. So sellier making one, and then the trio and the trio, you can pause the video and check online on Louis Vuitton online. They are actually featured a small card holder, but in the retourné style, return style. So it's stitched inside and turned over. I kind of like this because it makes it more like flatter. The retourné would make it like puffier. I don't like that. And also on Kelly, I do like sellier more than retourné. So this is basically the bag. Of course, you can adjust the length, and so those are just very basic features. Yep. So thank you very much for staying with me for so long again. Oh yeah, the logos, the Louis Vuitton logos, it's very strange. It has on one side the Louis Vuitton, the other side made in France, which is quite strange because actually I do know by fact that I think it's also disclosed on the website of Louis Vuitton. This specific model can be made also in the United States and another country, but they all say made in France. Wow, maybe they just send them back for the final stitch and then it's made in France. So thank you very much for staying with me, and I will review actually next my next video my traveling Victoria bag, just so you can have some comparison between the different models. Have a nice day.